little presentation about recycling. So, how many of you guys recycle? Yeah? Show hands. Cool. Well, most of you. I used to not do it either, but now I do. I've been recycling for about, I don't know, 2 years now, and I just started feeling bad. Like, that's pretty much why I started. I have a family of 4 at my house, and I'm the one that takes out the trash and does everything. So with doing that, I started to notice how much I was accumulating and just throwing away. And so I started recycling. But also, when I started coming up with this topic, like, I knew I wanted to do recycling, but after all the research I was doing, everything kind of led to the oceans. The oceans are just getting like wreaked havoc on by plastics, basically. So I shifted it over to like pretty much the ocean, you know, and like as like the problem that we're causing. Even though, I mean, it's in the landfills as well and everything, but I'll focus on the ocean for this. But so today I'll teach you about the problem that plastics are having with the ocean, what's causing that problems, and what everyone can do to help minimize that problem that we're having. So, according to Lauren Gush of Popular Science, over 4.7 billion metric tons of plastic gets dumped into the ocean yearly. And according to a lot of scientists, that's a conservative estimate. And like, as far as like what that number means, like I had to like get out my calculator and multiply, you know, a tonnage, 2,000 times 4.7 million or 5 million, and that's over 50 billion tons of plastic a year. Like, that's crazy. That's insane. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we can, with the information I provide you, you guys will start recycling a little bit more. So here's some fun facts. Like, every bit of plastic that has ever been created in the world is still in existence today. We've all heard of it takes forever to plastics to biodegrade or compose or whatever. And in the first decade of this century, from 2000 to 2010, we made more plastic in those 10 years than in the previous history of our world. So, and it's only getting more and more and more. So most of the ocean, or most of the plastic that goes into the ocean, it's by complete accident. People kind of just litter, and it gets taken by wind, water, rains into the ocean, carried into the ocean. And most of the stuff that you think is in there, it's just small stuff. It's actually, the big stuff is easy because it kind of just floats around and then it goes onto the shore and it's picked up. But the small stuff, like, what is it, water bottles, just
bottle
things,
caps.
yeah, just tiny things like that are what's killing it, because it just goes in there, breaks up into little pieces, and the fish eat it, birds eat it, and it becomes a big problem. And here's a crazy statistic. 1/4 of the fish in the California fish markets had some form of plastic in their guts. Like, that's kind of a big number. So. All right, I wanted to show everybody the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And I got this on the NOAA website. And basically that's what it is. That's the current right there going around the ocean, like the natural flow of the currents. And in these 2 garbage patches is where a lot of the garbage kind of accumulates. And in those little garbage patches, they say that you can't really notice it, but once you get there, and if you got into the water, you start to like feel everything. It's crazy. So. All right, Pacific Garbage Patch facts. Let's see, I already explained the top one. Yeah, I pretty much explained all that in that little explanation that I gave you guys. So I put this, and this is just my personal opinion as far as human beings. We're a fire alarm society. I put that in some of my essays in this class. I just like using that analogy, saying that we don't act until the fire alarm is just going off, going off, going off. So hopefully we can fix that before this happens. And now let's move on to what's causing this problem. It's basically us and the way we live. I've wrote in papers as well too that I feel guilty sometimes you know, I'm typing on a computer made of plastic, and it goes to a printer made of plastic, and I drive here in my car that's made of plastic, and you know, everything's made of plastic these days. So this was a crazy chart that I found on planetaid.org, and it shows some interesting statistics. Like 34% of Americans recycle, supposedly. But that's not, I mean, Canada's worse, Japan's worse, but what really got me is the United States produces 25% of the world's waste. So does that, I don't, like, I guess we just buy a lot of things, so is what I got out of that. Okay, and reasons why people don't recycle. If it's not accessible or convenient where I live, that's the number one that people have. And if that's your excuse, that's a good excuse. I mean, if you don't have the blue bins or you don't have a way of doing it, then it's hard to do it. So a lot of these others, I'd say every other one is kind of like not a good reason. But, and how do you do your part? This is actually my setup at home. Like, I have this little blue bin where I put everything in there, and then once that fills up, I kind of take it to my big blue bin over here. And one of your best tools for when you're doing recycling is a box cutter. So just makes everything easy. So have a box cutter. And this is actually pulled off the El Paso, City of El Paso website. And it tells you everything you can recycle. And I actually found out that from doing this presentation that paper I can recycle. I never used to recycle paper. I would just throw it away. But I just throw electronics in there and everything. You know, hopefully some guy over there will see it and maybe put it off to another electronic file. So, let's see. I'd like to thank all of you guys for your attention. Recycling starts with us. I hope I've got at least one of you to start considering recycling. And stay classy.
So, do you think that it's not just only